Peace, Royals. So I just wanted to do, a real quick one relative to preparation, um, being ready so that you don't have to get ready. I prepared a note some time ago, many years, relative to a go bag and those things that you would need in order to survive any scenario. At the end of the day, we've gotten really comfortable with the idea that it is someone else's responsibility to ensure our safety, our security, our solvency into the future. We've come to expect that somebody else should be more responsible for our lives than we should. We look for somebody else to do those things for us that we could be doing for ourselves. And that is what holds us in state. That is what keeps us slaves. Because rather than doing for ourselves or being free individuals, we accept a servitude of convenience. Because somebody else has the food, we won't grow it. Because somebody else filters our water, we don't learn how. Because somebody else provides our shelter and we exchange units of life for dollars, we'll trade those dollars for our shelter and we don't learn how to build our own. We don't learn how to perform basic triage and maintain our health because somebody else has done it for us. Man, we don't use telepathy because they put a cell phone in our hands. We have been crippled by our condition. And we embrace that crippled condition and perpetuate it upon each other, right? We think this is normal. And we accept the idea that lack of accountability or lack of responsibility is normal. I suggest to you that we are men and women that come from very strong and capable stock. Why? If there's breath in my body, why would I acquiesce to the idea that someone else is ultimately more responsible for preserving my life, my children's life, my family's life than I am? Who should do that? Who is my daddy that is going to do that for me? These are the things, that we've become used to, and it's not beneficial nor conducive to our being able to flourish as organic human beings into the future. You cannot carry that disposition into the future. So I see my brothers and sisters today, suddenly they're realizing that this nation doesn't have their best interest at heart. Though you watched for 400 years as each and every single innocent human being in your family has been treated callously, has been treated as chattel and not humans. You've seen this for 400 years. But now we're coming to the realization that this nation, that this White House doesn't have our best interest at heart. And so now a lot of my brothers and sisters I'm seeing are talking about, well, that's it. I'm going to Africa. Here's the problem is, if you've not spent time cultivating relationships, if you've not spent time producing an economic vehicle to carry you, if you have not spent time doing the legwork to ensure that Africa was able to accommodate you, then the only thing that you're looking to do is switch masters. You're looking to switch one master here in America to a master there, and you're going to have a really striking wake-up call when you get there. We can't switch masters. We have to evolve in our thinking. We have to accept responsibility for our own lives. No one else is responsible for you and yours. You made them children. You have family and loved one. Who else is supposed to take care of you if you're not going to? They're supposed to put more consideration, effort, and compassion into making you solvent than you have for yourself. Does that make sense? Again, I don't want to go too far. I really only did this to present one thing. I shared with you all a go bag, and that go bag should include those necessary elements that would allow you to be able to exist absent anyone and in any condition. Now, I'm not going to highlight the COVID virus. I'm not going to speak to that as if it is the worst thing I could imagine. I'm not going to speak to the 5G. I'm not going to speak to any of those things that the Stay Woke crew and the conscious community are speaking to. I'm not going to speak to any of that. I'll speak in a more hypothetical capacity. Zombie invasion. In my mind, doesn't matter if it's Godzilla, Mothra, COVID, 5G, it doesn't matter what the event is. What matters is how prepared am I to be able to withstand that. See, if I haven't made any plans, if the COVID virus can pop up and surprise me, and all of a sudden I'm scrambling, right? If Godzilla can pop up and suddenly I'm scrambling, if 5G can pop up and suddenly everything that I do and all of my plans must change because of that, then what that means is my planning to begin with was garbage. Do you hear me? If you have to change up in any way, shape, or form, it means that you had not accurately factored what could happen. You don't plan for an enemy's intent. You plan for their capacity, not what they want to do, but what can they do. That is what you plan for. So if Godzilla shows up and you're surprised, then that means your planning has been faulty all along. If a COVID virus or a pandemic pops up and you're not ready, that means that the effort that you have spent, what you have been talking about, what you have been saying is relevant, is irrelevant. It has been irrelevant. Okay? What we have to do is we have to factor every potentiality. You don't just make your plans based on the absolute best case scenario. You have to have a threshold in your planning. And in that threshold, absolutely, we want to consider the best case scenario, but you better consider the worst case scenario as well. Because in either condition, in either extreme, you still must come through. You must be able to survive it. So in the good times or the bad times, your plan must incorporate every metric along that scale. Yeah? So the things that I'm about to show you, the things that I'm about to speak to, they're not based on any condition that you see out here in the world. They're based on every possible condition that could occur. So in my home, and in the go bag, as I explained to you, I've got gas masks for every single member of my household. Now, this is an Israeli, a NATO-approved gas mask, 3-phase particulate filter. You basically pop this open, and that uses a charcoal-based filter to stop all particulates from entering. On the side, what this is a water hose, so that if you needed to drink, you could do so without contaminating yourself. Okay. Inside, what you have is, so you have a seal, right? The first seal that you see is here. It goes around your face and it seals completely. The second seal that you'll see is on the inside, right? Inside of that mask, you see another seal. This goes around your nose, your mouth, and again, it It produces a secondary seal. Okay, so this is a really good gas mask. It's not very expensive. I think right now they raised the price because, again, if you wait until you need it, that's what happens. So they raised the price. It's a lot more than what it was, but it's a good mask. It'll keep you alive. Here's the thing about a gas mask. It's a very uncomfortable thing to wear. If you put this on, chances are, if you've never worn one before, if you've never, been a firefighter or anything, and worn apparatus, it's quite possible that you will experience claustrophobia. It's quite possible you will experience claustrophobia because these are around your eyes and around your face, and you're pretty much closed off. The other thing that happens is when you breathe through this filter, the air is restricted. You're not breathing, you're not getting as much oxygen as you generally do without anything on your face. This can produce anxiety. It can make it hard for you to breathe. So my suggestion and what I do is I wear this for no reason. I work out with this on. I become comfortable in the time of comfort, so that way at the time of distress, I'm prepared. I'm not going to get anxiety. I'm not going to lose my head because I got this apparatus on. And this is the kind of thing that I need to orient my people towards. You need to be prepared. You need to train. I spoke about a go bag. I train with my go bag, right? If I need to move, it's not going to be an optimal condition. I'm going to have to move with equipment. I might have to fight with equipment. I might need to fight with this on, right? I may need to go an extended period of time without removing this mask, right? Am I going to wait until I get to crises before I begin to prepare for such? That's, again, the sum total of everything that I've ever said to you has been about preparation, has been about defining those things that you could possibly encounter and being prepared for that. So this is definitely an integral part of my go bag. Now, practical application. So it's got 5-point connecting, right? It's got a comfortable little strap in the back, 5-point connecting. To put on a gas mask, expand those bottom connectors, put your chin. The chin goes in, and this always, my hair actually gets in the way. And there you have it, okay? This is a 40 millimeter filter. It is generally standard. Most gas masks have the same size filter, 40 millimeters. They're good for 25 years. So I would strongly suggest you invest in one and get them for your entire family. Okay? Again, that filter is good for 25 years. So these are the tools that you need to survive, right? These are the basic things that you should have at all times to ensure the survival of yourself and your family, right? No one else's responsibility is it to make sure that you come through. No one else cares as much as you do. So it's your responsibility to prepare, to plan, to have those things to ensure that you can come through absent anybody else or any condition. So again, we don't just plan for the good times, right? We don't just plan for the completely optimal. We must plan for every potential metric on the scale in between the worst and the best. Much is going to change. Rome, historical Rome, had never become the level of abomination that this nation has. There is no nation in human history that has been 100% bought, paid for, and predicated upon crime and horror. And everyone in this nation takes it as normal, even us. Even us. We take this as normalcy. And we can't wait for this to end so we can vote someone into office to be our master. Someone gentler and kinder than our former master. We can't wait to go back to normal servitude and oppression. We've taken it as normal, as well as they have. Well, I suggest to you, none of it is normal. Do you know that this march that just passed represents the first march in 18 years without a school shooting? Think about that. Think about the children being born into this world and what they've seen. They were born and saw 9/11. And since then, they've seen school shootings every single year of their lives. They've seen horror to an extent that in American history, it has its precedent. Yeah, it has its precedent. Because of its inception, every minute and hour of its life demonstrates the horror and the abhorrent nature of its birth. It was a monster when it was born. It's a monster to this day. What does that mean? It means that if you can't point to a nation anywhere on the planet Earth that has so fully embraced and ingested apathy, disconnection, hatred, and barbaric behavior as fully as this nation did for every single 60-second interval since its inception, there's never been a time where it was not atrocious. Never, right? If that's true, if it is further true that in the history of the world and the history of humanity, there has never been another people that were 100% dependent upon another people for their survival. Ever. No people. No Indian, no Chinese, no Russian, no people in the history of humanity have been 100% dependent upon another people, and worse, thought it was normal. Considered it normal. So I get in the conversation and I see people speak about their ideology and their disposition. I had one man say to me today, point to a place in the world where Africans blah, blah, blah. And they used that as a means of justifying being less than a whole man. Because you can't point to an example that exists today, you would accept the position of a slave. You would say, because this doesn't exist today, the best that I can do is be a servant. That's what your ancestors died for. That's what they sacrificed for you to turn into a punk. You don't have the circumstances that they had. You're not living through what they lived through, what they sacrificed for, what they bled and died for. You ain't living in the circumstances that they had. And yet, in 2020, your best plan is to let some other man be your master. Because in your mind, you can't even fathom doing it for your damn self. That ain't no man. And at that point, you deserve whatever you get. If you're not going to take an active hand in relation to producing those things that are going to create your solvency into tomorrow, then don't say nothing based on who is doing it for you. If they're doing it for you, if they're carrying your weight, shut up. Don't complain. Say thank you, master. Say thank you. Or you do it your damn self. You build your own. You either acquiesce to being somebody's boy, or you be a man. There ain't no gray area. Either you take the responsibility for your own family and your own existence into tomorrow, into 48 hours, into 30 days, into 60 days, into 90 days. Either you take ultimate responsibility for ensuring that, or eat the cake, Annie Mae. You eat the cake. You take what they give you. Huh? So I suggest, I didn't mean to get all excited, but I do suggest there's been enough time irresponsible, unaccountable. There's been enough time following behind these peacocks, following behind these talkers that ain't got shit to say. You can't use what they're saying. What they're saying does not increase your solvency. It does not improve your ability to survive on your own as a free and organic being. They're talking. They got words. They Sally Jesse Raphael and Jerry Springers, huh? That's what they are. They're talkers, and they're taking your attention. And every moment of your attention that's being taken from your producing the solvency for your own family is another moment you will watch hell in their lives. You will watch horror in your family's lives because you're listening to talkers and you ain't planning and you ain't preparing to be solvent on your own. So you listen to your talkers. You listen to your donate, gifts. You listen to these, huh? You listen to your leaders, your so-called scholars, your thought leaders, right? You listen to them. You look at your presidents, look at your kings, look at your monarchs, look at your rulers. Where are they today? Did their plans change? Did what they had in mind change based on the condition that you see on the planet Earth today? And if their plans change, if their direction change, if their focus change, that means their focus, their direction, their plans was garbage to begin with. It means they were garbage because they didn't factor what was possible. They didn't factor what was possible. I don't care who I'm talking about. I don't care how big the organization is. I don't care how old the organization is. I don't care how much hero worship you're engaged in. That shit don't matter. What matters is, are they consistent? Can they consistently say that what they have built and their plans have not changed one iota based on the condition that they are in today? How many can say it? Not many. Not many. Not your Prince of Pumpernickel, not your Dr. Seuss, not your Moist Watkins, none of them. None of them. They're sitting back hoping Master fixes this so they can get on to regular oppression again. That's what they want. That's what they want. I simply suggest there comes a time you need to define who you are and what you are. Are you a man? Are you a man? Does somebody owe you security? Somebody owes you the continuation of your life into tomorrow? Or is that your primary responsibility? This is what defines man from slave. And again, if you don't recognize that definition, trust and believe, everybody else on the planet already does. They see it. They see you whining about the condition, but you ain't ready to take one single step to manage it for yourself, huh? But you're gonna complain about who is? That's your daddy. If they taking care of you and they're doing the thing that you could do for yourself, but you don't, shut up. Shut up. You sound like a whiner. You sound like a whiner. If you're not gonna control your own security and they're shooting you down on the street, what's your answer? What's your answer? If you don't like GMO foods, yet you could put a seed in the ground just like they can, huh? But you don't. You're waiting for them to feed you. If you could filter your own water, yet you don't. You're waiting for them to do it for you. If you could provide your own health care and nutrition and understand your own physiology and take control of your health, if you could do that, but you don't, you let them do it. Don't complain about disparities in healthcare. Don't complain about the quality of your food. Don't complain about the impurities in your water. Don't complain about the way in which they exact their justice. Don't do it, because you ain't doing it for yourself. Man, look, I ain't nobody. Everything I'm saying to you, I done said before. It's all been very, very clearly illustrated. Ain't no ambiguity. This ain't my think game. This is not my ideology. This is not my opinion. I'm telling you. I'm telling you. If I'm controlling your food, your clothing, your water, your healthcare, your shelter, and your security, you must be my child. You must be my child. Otherwise, what are you? If I'm controlling all of that for you, what are you? What does that make you? Huh? What does that make me? You accept that position? You're okay with that? You don't mind being somebody's son? Live with that, bro. I'm telling you, I'm not the slave whisperer. You hear me? I'm not the slave whisperer. If you want to stay a slave, if you want to hope that your master will continue to take care of you because you are too broken and crippled to take care of yourself, bruh, stay there. Those with courage, those who make their ancestry proud, those who understand that they are organic beings and that there's only one answer: freedom, responsibility. If you know that, bruh, link up. You're welcome. You are welcome. I mean to tell you, we're coming through. It doesn't matter. I don't care what happens. As I said, it could be Godzilla, it could be Mothra. Doesn't make a difference. I got a plan for that. We coming through. So, you know who I am. You can sit back and make excuses and whine and share your fears, COVID and oh my God and 5G and all this, everything, right? Guess what? If it wasn't this, it would be that. If it wasn't that, it would be the other thing. The only question is, how ready are you? It's the only question. Huh? Yeah. All right. Again, I didn't even mean to go that long. Just wanted to quickly holler, let you know what's up. All right. Peace.